Day 1, arrival in Istanbul. The moment I stepped into Istanbul, the city's energy wrapped around me like a warm, spiced breeze. I was transferred straight to my hotel, and as I looked out the window at the minarets silhouetted against the night sky, I felt a flutter of excitement. I kept replaying in my mind, "I'm finally in Turkey!" Memorable impression. The soft evening call to prayer echoing over the Bosphorus gave me chills of wonder. Day 2, Istanbul, Ankara. After breakfast, we set out to discover Istanbul's treasures. Hagia Sophia stunned me with its colossal dome and shimmering mosaics. I felt tiny, awed, and grateful. The blue mosque's intricate blue tiles seemed to whisper stories of sultans past. At Topkapi Palace, the opulence of Ottoman life unfolded room by room, and I imagined the sultans roaming those grand halls. The Hippodrome, with its ancient Egyptian obelisk, pulled me back into Constantinople's vibrant past. After lunch, we drove to Ankara. The landscape changed from urban buzz to rolling hills, and I watched villages flicker by like a living postcard. Memorable impression, standing under Hagia Sophia's dome and feeling centuries of history pressing gently on my shoulders. Day 3, Ankara, Cappadocia. In Ankara, we visited the mausoleum of Ataturk, a solemn tribute that made me reflect on Turkey's modern history. The changing of the guards was fascinating, so precise and ceremonial. Then we journeyed to Cappadocia, a land that looked like it was carved by dreams. The bizarre fairy chimneys rose like stone mushrooms, and the valleys glowed in pastel colors under the evening sun. Memorable impression, watching the landscape morph into Cappadocia's surreal rock formations. It felt like I had stepped onto another planet. Day 4, Cappadocia. Today was pure magic. The day began exploring the incredible underground city of Kaymakli, where I crouched through narrow tunnels and imagined entire communities hiding beneath the earth. The Gorem Open Air Museum took my breath away with its rock-hewn churches and Byzantine frescoes, the colors still vivid despite the centuries. After lunch, we visited Avanos, famous for its pottery. I giggled like a kid trying my hand at the potter's wheel. We wrapped up the day at Uchisar Castle, climbing to the top for sweeping views of valleys lit in golden sunset hues. Memorable impression, the hush of an ancient cave church in Gorem, where time seemed to stand still. Day 5, Cappadocia, Konya, Pamukkale. An early start had us driving to Konya, home of Rumi and the whirling dervishes. Visiting the Mevlana Museum was a soulful experience. The dervish robes, the music in my mind, and the scent of rose oil in the air. We then continued to Pamukkale, where white terraces cascaded down like frozen waterfalls. Memorable impression, the serenity I felt standing by Rumi's tomb, contemplating love and eternity. Day 6, Pamukkale, Kusadasi. Stepping barefoot on Pamukkale's terraces was surreal. The warm, mineral-rich water trickled over my feet, and I felt connected to something ancient. Hierapolis ruins nearby added layers of mystery, especially the Grand Theater. We then drove to Kusadasi on the Aegean coast, where I caught my first glimpse of the shimmering sea. Memorable impression? Feeling the silky warm waters of Pamukkale pools run between my toes. Day 7, Ephesus, Syrincha, Kusadasi. Today was an absolute highlight. Walking the marble streets of Ephesus, I imagined bustling Roman life, the Library of Celsus rising majestically, the grand theater whispering echoes of past performances. We visited the House of Virgin Mary, tucked in the hills, serene and spiritual. Later, we explored the village of Syrinche, with its cobbled alleys, wine shops, and friendly locals offering fresh pomegranate juice. Memorable impression. Standing in front of the Library of Celsus, marveling at its timeless grandeur. Day 8. Pergamon, Troy, Çanakkale. We traveled to Pergamon, where the ancient Asclepion once healed minds and bodies. I could almost hear the whispers of ancient patience. Troy was next, where the reconstructed wooden horse loomed playfully over the ruins, igniting stories of Helen and Achilles in my imagination. We ended the day in Çanakkale, a charming port town. Memorable impression. Touching Troy's weathered stones, feeling myth and history blur. Day 9, Gallipoli, Istanbul. Crossing the Dardanelles felt epic, the water sparkling under the morning sun. In Gallipoli, visiting Anzac Cove and the memorials was moving and humbling. I found myself quietly honoring all who'd fallen. The landscape was so peaceful. It was hard to reconcile it with the battles fought there. We then drove back to Istanbul, the city's silhouette welcoming us like an old friend. Memorable impression, the stillness at Gallipoli's cemeteries, where time and sorrow linger. Day 10, Istanbul. Today was free for personal adventures. I wandered through the Grand Bazaar, losing myself in a kaleidoscope of lamps, carpets, and spices. Over Turkish coffee at a tiny cafe, I watched life swirl around me, merchants calling, kids laughing, travelers haggling. The air was filled with the scent of roasted chestnuts and history. Memorable impression, that first sip of strong, sweet Turkish coffee, savoring the moment as Istanbul pulsed around me. Day 11, departure. It was time to say goodbye. As I was transferred to the airport, memories from Hagia Sophia to Cappadocia's valleys replayed in my mind like a beautiful film. I knew I'd carry Turkey's colors, flavors, and warmth with me forever. Memorable impression. The heartfelt goodbyes of our guide and group, a reminder of the connections travel gifts us.